Hey guys, you're watching Matt the Musketeer, and today I want to talk to you guys about the level of customization that we saw in the pre-alpha gameplay of Battlefield 4 at E3. Now the reason I want to talk to you guys about this is because one, there is a high level of customization in the game now. It looks like they really have cranked up the options and the availability of different pieces of kit compared to Battlefield 3. But not only that, about a month, maybe a month and a half ago, I did do a kind of wish list video talking about the kind of levels of customization and which parts of customization I would like to see in Battlefield 4. So today I kind of want to compare my wish list of Battlefield 4 against the things that we are seeing so far in the Battlefield 4 alpha. Okay, so to begin with, the first thing we can see is the customization page itself really has changed a lot since Battlefield 3. Now, in an interview, Carl Magnus Trodson did say there's now much less clicking of buttons and changing menus when you're customizing your weapon and your kit than there was in Battlefield 3. So that's a massive improvement. You're no longer diving through sub-menus to try and set up your perfect weapon in the middle of a match. So that is a massive improvement to start with for the customization. So to begin with, down the left-hand side, you can see all of the different weapons and items that we can go on to customize. Now at the top, as you would expect, is the primary weapon, in this case the AK-5C, a new weapon to the game. Now beneath that, it looks like we can still only have 3 attachments on the weapon at once. In this case, it looks like the player's using a reflex sight or a red dot sight, a muzzle brake, and then has nothing attached in his 3rd attachment slot. Now beneath that, we have our secondary weapons, which now can be customized to pick paint schemes, laser sights, torches, sights. All of these things you can attach to your primary weapon, you can also now customize for your secondary weapon. Now beneath that, we have our gadgets. Now we still have only 2 gadget slots in the game, but now you can have any of your gadgets available in any of the 2 slots, which means there's a much higher level of customization available to your soldier. Now beneath that, we do have grenades now, because of course we no longer only have the high explosive grenades, we have incendiary grenades, which are really useful against troops, but not so useful against things like armor or, knocking down a wall. And we have flashbang grenades for stunning enemy soldiers. So now there are 3 types of grenades in the game. Now beneath that, most interestingly, I thought on this list was knife. As you can see, it says shank at the moment, so it looks like there's going to be different customizations for your knives. Of course, in Battlefield 3 we had 2 knives, but you could never select between them. Once you bought premium, you were then stuck with the premium knife. So it looks like now we have different types of knives available to us, so that's something pretty cool as well. Now beneath the knife options, we do have something called field upgrades, and as you can see here, he has offensive selected. Now, I think field upgrades is to do with picking your squad perks or squad customizations, which we did see in the multiplayer gameplay. As you're playing the game, slowly you see a small bar start to increase and your options available to the squad do increase as you gain more points. So this is something to do with the new kind of leveling up of your perks during a match that you can see in Battlefield 4. So this is something called field upgrades, and I think you can still pick things like offensive or defensive and pick which style of upgrades you want to earn during the match. Now as you can see here, the player has selected the engineer class, and when he clicks on his primary weapons, these have now been broken down into different categories. We have PDWs, carbines, shotguns, and so on. So rather than just having a big list of different weapons, we now have them broken down into different categories. So now as the player goes onto the weapon customization itself, we do see this nice close-up 3D image of the gun. And as the player goes through the different attachments on the left-hand side, now as I said, we can still only have 3 attachments on a weapon at once, but as the player is going through his different options of attachments, we can see all the stats to the right hand side, including range, accuracy, damage, and all the kind of things these attachments will have an effect on that certain weapon. So if we zoom in here and take a look at some of the attachments available in this video, obviously in the final game there will be a lot more attachments available, and probably the people playing this at E3 didn't have all of them unlocked at the time. But as you can see, the player has the reflex sight, something we did see in Battlefield 3. He has the muzzle brake, which is something we did see in Battlefield 3. And he has the laser pointer. Now the laser pointer has changed slightly in Battlefield 4. We now have the option for a green laser pointer, as you can see here. Not only do we have the standard laser pointer, we do have the green laser pointer as well. Now in this same section we do have the canted iron sights. Now the canted iron sights is something we've known about since the first release of gameplay of Battlefield 4. We did see that in the 17-minute gameplay, but now we can confirm it is going to be in the multiplayer. Now this will make a massive change to the game. Now I do assume it probably won't be available on all weapons, but it does mean you can have a long range sight and use your iron sights as well. So if you're trying to take people out at a distance and then suddenly someone rounds the corner 5 feet away, you can switch to your canted sights and have a more successful chance of taking them out. Now, the only thing about canted sights is, for people playing on console and on PC, it's going to have a real difference on how you use your sights. Obviously on PC, you just right click to look down your sights or hold L1 to look down your sights. So having two different sight options is going to mean there's going to be different buttons to use different sights. So it could get a little bit confusing trying to, remember quickly which buttons to use different sights at the right time. So it's going to be interesting to see how these canted sights do work in the game. Now, on the third attachment box, we can see there is no longer just the vertical foregrip we saw in Battlefield 3. Now, this is something that I did touch on in my previous video. We now can have angled foregrips as well. Now, I'm unsure as of yet whether or not these different types of grips will have an effect on the gunplay of your weapons. I'm assuming it probably will. Having different grips that have no real change to the weapons at all seems a little bit pointless, so I'm assuming all of these attachments and new attachments will all have different roles to play on the weapons that you're using. So after seeing this new level of customization put into action in the 3 days of E3 live streaming so far, I wanted to ask you guys, what are your thoughts on this new level of customization that you've seen? Do you like having the option now to not only upgrade your primary weapon but also customize your secondary weapon as well? I do know quite a few people wanted to actually see less customization and less weaponry because it would mean there's less chance of having things like, the MAS 26 and the USAS and the M16, all of which, because there's so many weapons in Battlefield 3, sometimes these little issues and problems get overlooked. So I do know some people wanted to see less weapons in the game, which would mean there's then, a smaller finite amount of weapons, so there's less chance of different things being glitchy. But personally for me, I think a larger array of weapons is only a good thing. It just means more players have more choice and it's a bit more personal, not everyone using the exact same gun. I'm hoping this time there aren't going to be the M16s of Battlefield 3. I hope there's not going to be a god gun that you just see every single tryhard using. I'm hoping there's going to be a wide variation of guns that have different kind of abilities for different kind of situations. But they're just my thoughts, guys. I wanted to ask you, what kind of level of customization do you want to see in Battlefield 4? Is this the kind of thing you want to see? Is this up to par with what you want to see? And is this the kind of thing that you imagined when we had my discussion about weapon customization in my video previously? Personally, I think it's pretty good. It's looking on form so far, so I am really pleased with what we're seeing so far. But tell me all your answers and all your information and all the things you think so far about the weapons in Battlefield 4 below. But in the meantime, guys, I hope you did enjoy this video, and I will see you soon.